Show.
The Sunday session.
My co-host, Jeff Myers.
Hello.
He's representing the millennials.
Yep.
And
New room. It's a new room every day.
I'm
Jeff.
on Team Boomer.
Yep. You get me with bed background, car background, wall background occasionally. That's what you get. That's what you get when you have kids and not a dedicated room to ever be in.
Let me tell you something. My main advice for people in almost all phases of business and life is to never give up. You know, try to do the best you can do, and then the next day, just better than that.
Right.
And, you know, so if you fumble through and it doesn't look exactly like what you want, that's okay. You know, that's fine.
Yeah.
They're giving us some new shapes and ways to do this.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't been on here in a while.
Look at that. It gives you the main.
Do you like this? Or do you like this better?
I like that better myself.
Yeah, me too.
Let's not zoom in on this.
We don't need people to be overwhelmed by our face.
Yes, that's what I'm
saying. But anyways, make sure that you're trying to do your best and don't quit. That's the secret ingredient to life.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The second secret ingredient for that is to be grateful and humble and be satisfied with what you have until you have more. And then just be twice as satisfied, and you're going to be happy the whole way.
That's right. Do good for others. Help others. Give them knowledge.
If you help somebody else,
I like it.
God will take care of you.
Yep.
And I'm going through that right now with my kidney failure and everything else. I am being helped significantly by the universe and the people around me, and you know, the doctors and my good friends like you and everybody else. And I probably get 10 phone calls a day. Hey, how can I help you? Big Papa, do you need anything?
Right.
And all I can think about is how can I help somebody today? And I'm being well taken care of by everyone else.
Right.
And if you get to where you're doing that religiously, you know, you don't need to worry about what you're doing.
Yeah.
But you said you had some personal business?
Well, you know, just kind of catching up with you. Like you said, it's been a minute, and I think you know, just kind of checking up on you first, like you just mentioned, and you know, making sure that you're doing well. And you know, outside of that, we got a little house that's turning and burning in Oklahoma. You know, looks like that's all completed with a little help from our friend Mike.
Yes.
Saw his name on a couple line items. So thank you, Mike, for always being there to help out.
I don't know exactly what the numbers are on that, but roughly, I think we're in for 40, and we have about $8,000 in rehab, and now it's being rented out at $695 a month. But I would put the after renovated value at probably 95 to 100.
Yeah. Value of the house, $95,000 to $100,000
after renovations. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's one of those things where it was a dead house.
Right.
It was empty. It was a dead house for some reason.
Yeah.
The water heater was removed. The HVAC didn't work right. The water was shut off.
Right.
There's a hole in the roof, those things that we knew.
Yeah, they took a part of the kitchen out too, which is, I thought, a weird move. There used to be a little island in front of the kitchen area, and that was taken out.
Did there used to be something there?
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking through those old pictures, and I noticed that there was an island in the past, but then now it was just empty.
Yeah.
It was removed. It's weird. Who knows?
Yeah, well, nothing surprises me.
Yeah.
And until you close, there's no guarantees on anything.
Yeah, no, it's true.
That's in there. They took the washer and dryer out, and so it's a little frustrating.
But now we got a nice little stand-up house.
But the lesson that I learned on these last 3 properties is that you?
What do you hear? You hear the wind chime from outside?
No, it's like a wind is blowing over your something.
Oh, yes, that was me. How did you? I don't know how you knew that, but yes, that was. How funny.
Something on your microphone.
Yeah, I guess there's a microphone where I had my hands.
But one of the things that I learned is we are never going to go to closing on a house without having the water turned on.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a good
you
call.
have to fight with the city, and then they won't turn it on unless somebody's there, and then there's a broken pipe, and then blah, blah, blah. All that stuff needs to be handled before we close.
Was that an issue in ours?
That was an issue on that house. That's an issue at the bank. I got that solved. But the 4,000 square foot funeral home that we're redoing, that's a plumbing nightmare.
Okay.
And, we're trying to get that figured out. And the Masonic Lodge doesn't have water turned on to anything upstairs. So, if you're willing to take that on, the price needs to be commensurate.
The right price. Yeah, that's true. That's not part of the inspection that they.
No, it is. But the problem is that when you're buying these properties the way we are at a discount, you're taking bigger risks and you get less assurances.
Yeah.
Like, where do you know where you can get involved and buy a house and then double your equity in 3 months? Because that's what you did. You put your money in and it doubled.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is not doubling on a used computer.
Right.
This is doubling on a house. 50 grand doubles.
Yeah.
And then the rental power of something that's more expensive than that, that's a big deal.
Yeah. Huge.
Forgive me if I'm still kind of scratching and itching. I have these poisons that are coming up out of my body, and the dialysis is cleaning my blood and helping with that, but it's not, I haven't gotten a thorough, week of dialysis to clean my blood out. So that's what my itching is doing. It's a little distracting, but it's just, I can't help it.
Yeah.
But, in your situation, as a young couple that's starting your wealth building journey, it's really nice to get a jump on something.
Right.
And have that big of an equity bump.
Right.
If for no other reason, you look good with your wife.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing with these crazy friends of yours? Blah, blah, blah. Well, look at this. Here's our net balance sheet. Yeah. Do you run a net worth balance sheet, Jeff?
I need to do better I just kind of do quick and dirty on it, but no, is that answer.
And it doesn't have to be crazy detailed.
Yeah.
It's like assets.
Right.
liabilities, net worth.
Boom. Yep.
And you would include your 401k,
right,
your equity that you have in your house, because you put in your house value minus your mortgage.
Yep.
Any money that's in your checking accounts, and now your real estate portfolio.
Yep.
With your equity in the one house.
Yeah.
And just, for the new listeners, we do not have loans on equities. We get together as a team and we all put cash in, and there's no debt against the asset. And I
Absolutely.
think that's going to be more significant now, because I don't know if you're watching the real estate market and what's happening, but I believe rents are going to be coming down. I believe that the general public has been punished about as much as they can stand it.
What do you mean by that? Like, what's the...
You've got people that are getting $1,600 a month for Social Security, and a 2-bedroom place to rent in Denver is $2,200 a month.
Right.
They can't do it. You know? And the ones that are working, that are getting $16 an hour or $17 an hour or whatever, they can't do it. They got to work 2 or 3 jobs.
Yeah, that's hard.
Something is going to have to happen. The
Right.
interest rates are sky high. Everything is a problem. And I think the powers that be are building lots of rental facilities that'll be rental only neighborhoods for things, but mainly big high-rise buildings so that they can access the public's need for housing.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll do it for less in these little communities.
Yeah.
And
that'd be good.
I think it'll be good for the general public. However, investors that are not ready to dynamically move their business orientation are going to get punished. And what I believe is, say for instance, a house in Denver you're renting out for $2,300 a month to get good renters in, because everybody was renting them for 25, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
There may be a switch to where, to get good renters, you need to rent that house at $2,000 a month.
Right.
Well, if you have debt on that property and you've got to take care of debt service, then you may be in a situation where you're breaking even,
right,
or you're losing money.
Yeah.
And then if you have to go for 12 to 24 months while you're losing money, that investment can fold.
Right.
And to use your example, just since we're talking about you, we're renting your little 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house in Drumright, Oklahoma, to a veteran, and they're paying $695 a month. If things changed dynamically for us, we could do a 1-year lease with that veteran for $350 a month.
Right. And
it wouldn't be the best thing that ever happened to us.
Yep.
But it wouldn't hurt us either. And the fact that we can stay healthy and alive in those times, that's the power of the way we do things. You know,
yeah,
we
that's
might not
big.
be able to scale as fast, but they can't take us down as fast either.
Yeah, and a lot of the times those loans are built around value and around, what the bank thinks you can, reasonably pay for, reasonably they can loan against. So a lot of the times you're pretty dead on value, so if you're going to start reducing that, then like you said, you're starting to break even, or, even go negative on that value, right?
It's tricky.
I mean, that $2,200 house that you're talking about renting in Denver, I mean, that's probably pretty close to what that thing's worth and what the value is and what they've rented or what they've made a mortgage against that, right? I mean, that person's probably not clearing very much at that.
Well, that's the problem, and we could do it live if we wanted to, but I'll thumbnail it, and then maybe on a different show we can do it live. But that's a $400,000 house.
Yeah.
So if you get in the mortgage calculator with the current things that are going on, that's probably a $3,200, $3,400 mortgage.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I was using just some generic numbers, but you're totally right.
Well, that's what I'm saying about the investor that wants to utilize debt. You know, if you've got a $3,200 loan and you're only able to rent it for $2,300,
that's a crusher. Yeah.
And then you lose a renter or have to take it lower. And then the other danger is if you've got to get that much money for it, what kind of people are going to rent a 2-bedroom place for $3,500 a month when, if they can afford that and qualify for that, they really should be buying their own place?
Sure.
I mean, it falls apart pretty quick.
True. Yeah.
But, you know, that's another thing where, you know, in our investment team, we don't buy in Denver because we can't make the numbers pencil.
Right.
And making the numbers pencil is the most, you know, important thing that we do when we look at an opportunity, because looking at opportunities, we love that. Because it's free.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only thing in the whole investment thing that we like that's free. So something came across my desk the other day, and it was a mini storage place with a house. And I think it was 25 unit mini storage and a house that was being rented.
What's the house? The house is that's a livable living space that's on the property?
Caretaker's house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And something that we would definitely do. I mean, we have experience in that.
We've done that.
We'd definitely like to do that.
Yeah.
But it brought in, including the house rental, it brought in $40,000 a year.
Okay.
And so if we do a quick pencil on that, how much is that a month?
40,000 divided by 12, right?
Exactly.
Yep. 3,333.33.
Okay. So using our 1% formula, what should the price be?
You have to get that for 300,000.
333,000.
Yep.
If it were a passive investment.
Yep.
And by passive, we mean we're going to put a family in there, take care of everything, then we don't have to do much.
Hands off.
This is not a passive investment. You have monthly renter changes. You have a business you're running inside of it. The house may be semi-passive and you can use 1%, but you have to do better than 1% because you're incurring monthly running costs of running the business.
Sure.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would feel comfortable buying this at 280 normally.
Okay.
And if I was getting a steal deal, take another 40 off of that, and then I'd be saying, hey, I'm really excited about this deal. They want 395. And so I ran the quick numbers in my head and I said, pass. The next week they've lowered the price to $345.
Oh, wow.
You think?
Wow.
But
That's
those
wild.
are people that are getting a good deal retail.
Right. Yep.
But our team doesn't buy things retail, right, Jeff?
Right.
I mean, we wait until it's an opportunity to where there's a little blood on the floor, and then we buy something that's dramatically lower so that we can, take on the odd things that come up.
Right.
The plumbing things, the roof things, the structural things, whatever it is. We want to make sure that we're buying the properties at an amount that allows us to absorb some of those mistakes.
You bet.
But there's people that are out there that are not even buying retail.
Right. Yeah. I mean, people are interested, but
no, but I mean, they're
spend
buying
the money,
over, they're paying over retail.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where people get stuck. I mean, you cannot be a perfect property manager, a perfect investor, a perfect hire of the labor, of the construction thing, a perfect salesperson, perfect marketer. If you pay $600,000 for that mini storage, when it should be $280, there's no way you can win. I don't care who it is.
But at $280, you feel like there's some meat on the bone.
Oh, I would definitely engage at $280.
Yep.
At $240, I would just write a check.
People in that house are running the storage. They're running that storage lot. People are turning in and out, in those lockers, and they're handling the contracts, the move outs, the move ins, all that. That's the concept.
Oh, for sure.
And maybe
there's if we bought that, the first thing we would do is automate the whole process so that, there's a little bit cleaner functionality.
Sure. Of course. Yeah. I mean, we're not doing manual contracts anymore.
Well, I'm sure that
been there, done that.
These old school people do.
Yeah. Yeah. Waste of their time.
No, it's not, for one reason. They're cheating on their taxes.
Oh boy.
Yep. And I don't allow for that.
Yeah.
Because I would rather pay all the taxes and have all the accountability and know what's going on than try to get away with something shady, because, I don't run anything.
Right.
I trust people to run things for me, and I'd rather electronically take care of all of the taxes and funds and everything to make sure that we're not having somebody collect cash.
Right.
But that's just my theory at my stage of life.
I like it.
Anyways, that's the real estate update, real estate lesson of the day. Yeah. You're learning more and more about what you're doing with your investments. How's your stock portfolio going?
It's been a week since I checked it, but I think things are going pretty well. We had a couple big days a couple weeks ago.
What are you into?
I am into, with your guidance, we are doing, got some mutual funds in there. I think, I can't remember if it was you or somebody else that said to kind of stay in your lane when you're buying this stuff. I support these companies, so I buy into these companies. So I have, I have some individual stocks, but they're all dividend paying stocks. So
I love dividend investing. Yeah. I think that that's a really good way to go. And I'm not under the assumption necessarily of, hey, I use this company, so go ahead and invest in it. I'm more interested in how easily can people do without the company. That's true. What's the likelihood people are going to stop using that company. And like one of the companies that's been the biggest win for me last year was Waste Management.
Okay. I got a little bit of them.
They are a trash company that works a lot in Denver and different other places. But Waste Management, I bought $69,000 of Waste Management, and now it's worth $123,000.
Nice. Yeah, I
And
got a little bit of them floating around too.
Just for the listeners,
2 shares, Mark. I got 2 shares.
Dude, that's where it all starts.
Isn't that cute? Got 2 of them.
Well, you know what I like about that is 2 shares begets 4 shares begets 8 shares. And every time you go and you want to reinvest,
right,
you start doubling some of these positions that you like. And that's how it ends up being more.
Yeah, they grow. Yeah.
But I'm trying to find my last dividend from.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of low and slow too. I mean, obviously I have a little bit of a ramp.
415 was the dividend.
Nice.
My quarterly dividend from Waste Management. So that's what we want to do on a dividend stock is be collecting dividends.
Yep.
And seeing equity growth.
Right.
And if those 2 things happen at once, that's a fun way to do it. Now, you were saying you were going slow. What?
Yeah, I got some mutual funds that I like. I like putting some of my money into as well.
Why is that?
ETFs and mutual funds. I got time. If I put some of this money in, I mean, I have some time to let them kind of slowly increase.
See, I disagree with that. Yeah. I think the younger you are, the more risk you should take, and you should be in there, getting that number up.
Sure.
If you're older, then maybe you might want to protect some of that stuff. However, I'm older and I don't have any of those bonds or any of that stuff because I'm being as aggressive as I can with those dollars in that particular bucket because of inflation right now. I mean, it just you're not safely growing.
Right.
You're losing.
Yeah.
And you're losing probably 6 or 7% on those things because if you put them next to inflation.
Sure.
And the rule, the rule of 7, right?
Remind me, I can't remember.
The rule of 7 says if 7% is our income, our money will double every 10 years. So in 10 years at 7%, our money will double. If you're losing 7%, in 10 years, your money will be cut in half.
Right.
And it might not be cut in half for the physical number, but it'll be cut in half for the amount of pizzas that you're allowed to buy.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I want to make 10 or 20% on my money if I can. And that gives me a 10% gain on the money when I need to use it.
Sure.
And you know the rule of 4%, correct? 4% is the safe withdrawal amount that you can take out of your investments to live on when you retire and without losing any portfolio value. That's just a thumbnail that a lot of the older guys came up with.
Got it.
So that means when you get to be my age and you're retired and you want to take off some money,
right?
You want to take a safe amount to where it doesn't erode your principal.
Sure, that makes sense.
My strategy is I would rather be aggressively building up my 401k
mm-hmm.
and risk the thing dropping and me not being able to withdraw because it's down. You don't want to take your money out of your account when it's down. You want to take your money out when it's up.
Correct.
Well, even in my later years, if I can't take out money, I'm going to live on my other buckets, like my real estate and that kind of thing, while my stock market comes back up. And I'm willing to take that risk to have more. Now, obviously, I'm a big fan of dividends.
Right.
Are you there?
I am.
Like I said, the connection blipped. But I like to have probably 80% dividend stock at this point that I like that are doing well for me. But I put in probably 20% of some ones that I'm hoping are going to be non-dividend payers, but will give me more growth. And the ones I bought was Tesla, NVIDIA, Netflix, Meta, Google, Amazon.
Wow. Big names.
Well, they're all growers.
Yeah.
So if I can have that kind of pack growing some money, then I can feed it back into the dividend stocks that are really kind of doing my thing.
Right.
And if I look, I think I did that about a month ago. And I don't realize gain or loss. All right, I need to go. So Microsoft I had before, that's a dividend payer. Apple I had before, that's a dividend payer.
Mm-hmm.
NVIDIA was the best one.
Yeah.
I bought in at $9,800 worth. And today I have 15,755.
Nice. A lot of stuff going on in that company. They are selling GPUs like crazy.
For AI.
Yep. They got a little monopoly going on with the chipsets, and they hold manufacturers to a certain profit margin, and it's
next one of my new people. I bought Meta, Facebook, and I bought $9,700 of that, and now it's worth $13,000.
Nice.
Yeah.
How long ago were these purchased?
I think 3 months, 2 months. I could get an exact date,
but ballpark around then.
Two, no more than 3, but I think 2.
Yeah, sure.
Netflix, I bought $9,800 worth of that, and now it's $12,000. Amazon, I bought $9,800 worth, and now it's $11,000.
Nice.
But there's a couple in here that didn't go so well.
Yeah, as it goes, right?
Google lost $500.
Yeah.
Tesla lost $1,500.
Yep.
They're having their own troubles.
They are. Yeah. Reducing the cost of cars.
But, those other little growers are helping me a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm not totally against these mutual funds.
Sure.
I do have some money in Vanguard's VOO. And I know you have that as well.
Is that Vanguard Technology?
No, Vanguard S&P 500.
Oh, okay. No, mine's different. I got Schwab, but
But you're still investing in the S&P 500.
same idea. Yep, that's one of my bigger accounts.
Well, and I put some money in that VOO, total stock market, and I put $19,000 in. I have $24,000 now, and so that's $4,700 gain. But that's like over a year.
Yeah, no, it grows slow.
But that's the total stock market, and that's, Warren Buffett said, if you just buy the total stock market, you're probably going to turn out a winner, and I agree with that.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean
if I was a different person, I would probably just take all my money, put it in the total stock market, and just let it go.
Yeah.
I happen to just kind of have fun being in the game.
Yeah.
With the individual stocks that I pick that I like, that I'm doing the dividends on. I feel like I'm running a business a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that's just my personality. I like it better.
Yeah.
If I was giving somebody advice that didn't want to play around with it, I would say, just buy the total stock market fund.
Yep.
From Vanguard or somebody that you trust without a bunch of fees.
Yeah.
And go do yourself.
Yep.
The one thing I don't advise people to do is hire a financial person.
Yeah.
And the only reason I say that is it's too easy to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And it's very hard for me to believe that they're going to do it so much better than just the standard stock market.
Yeah.
The collection of 500 companies.
Right.
That they can charge 1 or 2%.
Yeah.
Because you're giving away 1 or 2% to them to start off with.
Yep.
And so, you're behind the 8 ball.
I think there was a point where you said, if you and I can do it, then anybody
can. And we learned.
Yeah.
We learned together, right?
I think you always said, we're not advanced. Some of these traders are, slinging all day, every day, and buying. What are you had somebody you knew who did that? They were kind of like trading. What is it called?
Day trading.
There's a specific term, but that they're taking these penny stocks and just making them crazy in one day or 1 hour or something wild, riding that wave. I can't remember what the whole thing is, but
well, there's a lot of guys that trade options and
options.
They trade on margin, so they're actually borrowing money to trade, and then there's margin calls. I mean, it's a very risky world to be in.
Yeah, just not us.
You can lose all your money.
Pick some that and that are household names, and off you go.
Well, all we're really doing is taking advantage of our tax deferred account.
Right.
You and I don't invest any money in something that's not a tax deferred account. And the reason for that is we've got better things to do with our money.
Absolutely.
We can start a business with it. We can buy income producing assets. There's a lot of other things that we can do that not only gains more money than a stock portfolio would, but it gives us a little diversification outside of that stock fund.
Right.
Because if all your eggs are in one basket, then that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Put them all in Tesla and hope for the best. That does not.
There's people that do it.
That equation may not work well.
There's a lot of people that did crypto and different things like that, and it's not a good thing.
Yeah. Well, we should do a little screen sesh offline one day and realign with some of those stock concepts. And
Jeff, that is, to me, the heart of entrepreneurism and business and the way we help each other is comparing notes.
Yeah.
and saying, here, what would you do in this situation? I mean, even, poker players that want to get better. They sit down with somebody else who's been doing it a little bit longer, and then they visit together.
Yeah.
And that's part of the building the relationship that we do. And you're going through that in the home acquisition investment.
Yep.
Because we don't hire somebody to run our properties, we do it.
Yep.
And we keep all that money, and it's run properly.
Yeah.
But you're beginning to learn about that process. And so, we're cross training everybody, just like we used to do at the computer company.
Yes.
Everybody gets to do everything, so you're learning how to do the leases and the buying and the negotiations and all that kind of stuff. And then you'll teach somebody else.
Yep.
Just like on the stock thing right now, if somebody comes to you and says, hey, Jeff, I don't know anything about stocks. Can you help me? And you can say, I'll tell you how to get started.
Amazing how many times that happens to me. Sure to you too.
I'll bet it does. It happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
It happens to me all the time, but I fish for it. I want to help somebody.
Yeah.
And they come to me and say, I don't know what I'm doing. Well, don't worry about it. Open a Schwab account, put $10 in it, and then buy $1 of 10 different stocks that you think that you want to buy. And let's talk about it.
Yeah, I started.
And if you lose your $10, I don't care.
I started that way with some micro savings platform that I can't remember what it was now. Stash, I think. I don't even know if they're around still.
Well, there's a couple of them that get people started. Webull and some of these other phone type things, and I'm afraid of fees.
Yeah,
you need to look at all that stuff and make sure that there's no fees. I would rather have people just go to Schwab or Fidelity or somewhere like that and learn how to do the regular brokerage.
No, I like it. Except that you got to buy a whole share, and that may be out of some of those beginners' budget.
You don't.
Well, it must change then.
No, you can buy fractional shares on Schwab.
Can you? Okay.
Absolutely.
Maybe that's changed since I was involved in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I had $100 to put in the stock market once, and I just got again one of those apps and tossed some in different places, and man, even at that small amount, even with paying some of those fees, I could see the power in it. So it was pretty cool. I
just like to get people started where they're not getting taken advantage of.
For sure. No, I like that. That's really cool.
I'm looking it up for us right now.
Yeah, I never thought you could, but they changed.
I'm pretty sure, but I don't want to give people bad information if we can help it.
Yeah.
Even though we're not financial planners, this is for entertainment only. Don't take our advice.
Yeah.
Schwab Stock Slices is an easy way to buy fractional shares for a set dollar amount.
So they're copying all the other guys.
Absolutely. And I don't know about copying, but catching up and providing the same service that people need to have. I think that's good. Because if I want to invest and I want to buy Amazon, it's $1,000 a share.
Correct.
That's not nice.
Yeah.
Everybody should be able to participate.
No, and I like that. I think that's really good for people.
And Jeff, I love it that you've got some stocks where you've got 2 shares.
Yeah.
And that's the whole theory of, get in there and do what you can.
Yeah.
Till you can do more. But if you want to wait until you buy 1,000 shares of Amazon at $500 a piece, you're never going to get there.
Yeah. No, make your moves. And honestly, I think that's more of a detriment to people who are waiting to do that. I mean, put your money in now, let the market grow it. Sure, there's some risk, and let the market take that money and grow it. works way faster. Way
Well,
faster.
the thing about some of this stuff that we're talking about is that you can go back and review the history. Right. What if we would have went out and bought a house 10 years ago in Inglewood?
Right.
Would that have been a good decision?
You can see the graph. It's telling you
We
that.
can see exactly what it was. How much was it? It was $118,000.
Yeah.
What's it worth today? 400.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I should have done that.
Mm-hmm.
And so you learn a little bit.
That's right. I like it.
Should I bought $500 worth of Dell software 25 years ago?
Yeah.
That would have been a good idea.
Yeah.
So you just you don't know for sure, because now buying a house in Inglewood, I don't know if 10 years from now that's going to be a big play. I don't know.
Do those become $1 million LA houses?
Maybe.
Then we'll look back and say, remember when they were $500,000? Yikes.
That's exactly right. And that's why I don't sell my houses in Denver.
Yikes.
But I'm not buying anymore.
Yeah.
Because my play is Oklahoma.
Yep.
And my belief is that everything that we buy in Oklahoma is going to double in the next 5 years. And the reason I say that is the affordability factor of everyone else coming here, and the difference in politics and some of the other places that the big money's leaving from. I believe it's going to be attractive for people to buy a 3-bedroom house with 2 bathrooms and a 3-car garage, maybe a 4-bedroom house for $300 now.
Right.
I think in 5 years, those houses are going to be worth $500,000 or $600,000.
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah.
And, I think that's where all the money is going to be made.
There's a lot of momentum happening out there too. Yeah. I mean, I'm starting to hear that more and more. They're building a big amusement park out there.
They got a big amusement park coming in. There's a bunch of oil and gas stuff. And if oil and gas goes crazy with the next president, that's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of growth. They call Oklahoma the second Hollywood, because Oklahoma refunds any production company 30% of their production costs just to come in and work on the economy here. So it's cheaper for Hollywood to get shows, TV shows, movies, that kind of thing here than anywhere else. So it's drawing money in.
That is interesting. I've never heard that.
There's a lot of tech that's moving in here because it's cheaper for office space, things like that.
Yeah. I mean, there's huge advantages, it seems like.
And, there are other places that I really like that fit the formula. Arkansas, Missouri, Mississippi, Georgia, all those places. Yeah. We just happen to be in Oklahoma because we've got a good handle on what the pros and cons are in this marketplace, and you can't learn everything. You can't get to know everyone.
Boots on the ground.
Well, you become part of the community here, and then you can make moves and be profitable by kind of being involved in the community. And you can't do that everywhere. If you decided you were going to buy houses everywhere, like there's a guy named Tom Cruise, and he's a big Section 8 investor.
Right.
He sells courses and has his big yacht that he has, He's like, yeah, just do my software. And, oh,
Yeah.
here's a house in Detroit.
Be a
And make
millionaire.
sure it's buyer seller financing. And, we'll buy this house. Maybe those numbers work. But I can tell you from working on our houses that we own, man, how do you get a plumber over there?
Right.
How do you get things fixed? I mean, how do you manage that? I mean, it's crazy.
Got to be a pain.
Oh, I just can't imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big enough problem here when I'm here to work with it. I just can't imagine having one house 1,000 miles away and no network. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Not good.
Well, Jeff, I will end the show by telling you I am so proud of you.
Oh, thanks.
You have grown into somebody that's going to be smarter than me. You're going to be richer than me. And that makes me so happy that you're going in the right direction.
Thank you for that. I mean, you know what? It's a lot of listening and a lot of doing things that you don't necessarily want to do. That's not necessarily the cool thing to do, but man, if you do it, it sure is easier. You talked earlier about, the investors being able to drop their price because they paid cash, and you're really in a prime position compared to somebody who has a bunch of loans and spending a lot of money on, paying those loans. And
with your investment that you have in that little house, I bet you sleep a lot better knowing that there isn't a looming bill every month that we got to race, right?
Right, for sure. Well, I think, and even leaking into my personal life, I mean, it's, I don't have, I have one little thing of debt, and it's, something I can pay off pretty easily. I just keep it but, it's easy. We have flexibility to do things because we didn't take on a bunch of debt. And, it's nice to be in that kind of seat. So thank you for that. Thank you for that knowledge.
Well, and the Ramsey people are all about no debt, zero debt. You can't have any debt.
Yeah.
I'm not quite there.
I got a little bit, but
I'm not quite there.
Nothing out of control.
Well, manage it correctly and be judicious, but I don't give anybody anything that I couldn't get myself.
Yeah.
Or I don't give anybody anything that I would want myself.
Right.
And that's how I manage debt. Because Jeff, if I loan you $1,000 and you give me 29% interest, I'm going to jump on that deal every time.
Right.
Because I'm getting 29% for my money.
Yeah, that's really good.
Why would you give that to somebody else?
Right.
Some credit card company, you're giving them 29% interest?
Right.
Why would you do that?
Yeah. It's true.
If you wanted to borrow $350,000 from me for 2%, 2.5%,
yep,
I wouldn't do it.
Bad deal. Yep.
Well, I can make more money somewhere else,
putting it into high yield savings.
If you can get that, you should take it. Anything you wouldn't do, you should take it on the other side because you're getting cheaper money.
Is that a true analysis of that? I've thought about that, but I never put that 2.5% you just said. If I took that same amount and put it into a CD at 5%, that's an advantage to me, correct?
That's called arbitrage. When you hear the word arbitrage, it's you take it out of one and you give it to another.
Yeah. That's a better deal for me, right? I mean, you're talking about that 350.
Outstanding.
That 350, if I said 350 at 2%, Mark, and you said no, and you could take that same 350 and put in a Marcus at 5% APY, that's better. You're going to get more money that way, right?
Well,
crazy.
That's why I have some debt on my main home.
Yeah.
Because I got a 2.875
Hmm.
and I knew that it was going to go up to 9.
Wow.
It didn't actually make 9, but it made 7.
Yeah.
But I told my wife, I said, we have to take advantage of this. I mean, debt's bad, except for I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Because
you're ahead.
Well, I can make 6% a year. Why not?
Wow.
So, I mean, that's
Wild.
a good thing. But that just means you have to, handle it with care.
Yep.
You don't want to have even good debt that can swamp your boat.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the way I thought about it was, I can borrow this money and I have an asset that I can sell if I need to liquidate that, so that percentage of my property and my wealth is balanced.
Yes.
And if we look at your situation, you're taking advantage of that lower interest rate on your big asset, your house.
Right.
You just don't have the ability to pay it off yet.
Right.
But you're inching towards that. Now
Right.
You've got, $40,000 in equity somewhere else. You've got money in the bank. You've got equity in your main house.
Yep.
You've often talked about renting that house when you move on.
You bet.
I don't like that.
Yep.
And the only reason I don't like it is because you have an opportunity to sell it, and $250,000 each is non-taxable. So you could take that revenue completely out of that place and not pay any taxes on the gain, and then invest it into a new instrument or two, and then rent those. And the likelihood of you making more money your townhome, let's say when you sell, it'll be worth $700,000.
Right.
You bought it at 4.
Right.
So you take that delta and not pay any taxes on it, and then buy $250,000 homes and start renting those out.
Right.
At $1,400 each, say. So that's $2,800 a month. What do you feel like your $700,000 townhome would rent for?
So different. You're putting it in the future, different time. It wouldn't.
Let me help you.
It wouldn't be near what we'd want. I mean, $3,300. I don't know.
It'd be $2,500 to $2,800. That's what it would be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can't rent a big asset like that,
right,
and get that kind of dough, but you can take it off the top and put that money somewhere else where you're getting closer to 1%.
Yeah,
and then start over on a new house.
That's a good call. No, I like that.
Well, and this is the benefit of you and I just talking about things.
Yeah.
So when it comes time to actually pull the trigger on something, it's well thought out, and we've thought about it. And guess what else?
Yeah.
We're going to make mistakes like crazy.
Yeah,
we always
sure
will. We always have.
That might be a terrible idea. Yeah.
Dude, we have made so many mistakes, but each time it's better thought out. We're looking at it. I mean, how many gaming machines did we build back in the day? Somebody would come to me and say, Mark, you got to build these gaming machines. And it was also just always just a terrible flop.
Yep.
But, we learned.
Yep. That we did.
And we have a lot of that knowledge nowadays, and we know what's good.
Yep. We learn from it, move on. Absolutely.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, I want to get you back to your family. I want to tell you, I really appreciate doing this show.
Yeah, you too.
I'm blessed to be out of my sick bed enough to just even talk to you.
Stay strong.
And I the most valuable thing that I have, since we're talking about wealth on this show, the most valuable thing that I have are the wonderful people in my life. And I've used the money to enrich us and myself. And that's the best money that I've ever spent, to have a guy like you in my life and your little baby birds and your family and everything else. So please, everybody, realize you only want to make the money so that you can help each other grow and build those relationships that, when you get old and feeble like me, turn out to be the most important thing there was.
I like it.
All right, buddy.
I like it.
I'll give you the last 3 seconds.
Take care, everybody.
Jeff Myers, everybody.